Hello everybody, this is Techstack here. I have Eagle in the channel with me. Eagle, if you want to say hi, go ahead.
Bye guys.
So since last night, I have done a few things. We've added can't remember if we had the collapse star in there last night or not. We do now. We have the portal is unbreakable in survival. The frames placed right, platforms are right. I've made it so the continuous miner doesn't break the portal or the portal frame block, so that you don't get stuck over there right away if you place one down and turn around. I've named the clamp star, given it a icon or an image. Same thing for the portals. I've given them names. Added crafting recipes. Basically, the main thing is now if you place a block around this, it doesn't delete it or anything. But if you break any of the blocks associated with this, it will disable the whole thing, and you have to respawn it in with another collapse star. The collapse star itself, at least for now, I'm making it so it's a one-time use. It's an expensive one because it'll take, well, here's the crafting recipe, right? So it's a cross of nether stars and pistons in the corner to compress the star. So that's 5 nether stars. So it's not a cheap one. I'm debating whether or not you keep the compressed star when you make this, but at the same time, I'm not really fond of a bunch of portals being made with this. I don't want to make it so that there's 15 portals from one player. No, that doesn't make a lot of sense. As part of the breaking the portal when you update it, so like that, right? It then made it so that when I go into the other dimension and it tries to create the portal is placed block by block, so it broke itself because it wasn't a completed portal. So I had to get that working again. That was just a matter of telling it not to send block updates out. What else is there?
Looks like it emit light.
Yeah, and it does. I took your suggestion. So if we break this one and lights goes out, if we do that, it comes back. If I break, how am I going to do this? I need another portal somewhere so that I can go back to the overworld. And we're going to create this one brand new. Let's block this off. And let's make a portal over here. So there's this weird bug that I'm not sure the best way to try and fix, or if it's worth trying to fix. And that's if you go to the bleak dimension and it creates the portal brand new. The lighting's like, well, that one's still kind of close to what it should be. Maybe that one's leaking light out or something. The portal light, if it's a brand new area, let me just do this instead. We'll just go super far away so we get a brand new one. It's like 2 blocks away from the portal. And it's because the lighting hasn't updated because of what I just described with the way the portal will break itself as it's being formed. The blocks aren't getting an update to know that the lighting has changed in the area. Because the way Minecraft works, like this block will say, I've got light level 1 or 15. And that triggers an update for all the blocks around it. That's why lighting updates can be expensive, because it's actually triggering a whole chain reaction of lighting updates. So it looks like this when you first go there, which is spooky as all get out. So I'm okay with it working like this because of the kind of mood it gives, but as soon as you place a torch down, then the whole thing updates properly, the lighting in the whole area, and it's like this though. So I'm probably going to leave it with the little bug just because it looks kind of cool, but it'll do that weird effect when you place a torch down.
I think you should leave it with the little bug. It kind of it does make it look cool.
Yeah. So, and then as you get away from this thing, there should be a point where it's just complete darkness now. There's no transition, no fade to darkness. It's just light, dark. I love that in this dimension. And my thought on it too, you know, let's get to the surface here so I can show it off better. It's easier to see on the surface level. I did see the paint job you sent. I'm not sure that gray and black and stuff is appropriate for it though. Like, I get what you're going for, but it doesn't have to look like the bleak dimension. So, I'm on the fence about it, I guess, is what I'm saying. I'm just not sure about it. So Hunter's asking me if I seen the painting job on the laser miner he sent.
Okay.
I sent him the bleak dimension block textures, and from that he's painted up some miners. Because remember, I mean, you're gonna have to come make the machines with the ores, which are colorful ores, and we might even throw in things from the overworld too, just so we can have a more expensive crafting recipe or a more appropriate crafting recipe. And those things might be different colors, right? I don't know. If you look at it this way, the bleak dimension being all gray, the overworld's all sorts of colors, but yet we make it yellow, even though the primary ingredients for most machines probably iron, which is gray. Can I repaint stuff? Yes, I can change the way that you're doing it. It's a material, and I can change the materials in Blender, no problem. Like, it's a solid color like what you've done, but I think that's okay. Some people are complaining about it, but I don't know what else to do. I'm not gonna sit there and UV unwrap all these things. That'll just take me way too long to do, and it won't look right still. So it's not gonna improve it any. Other people are saying they're fine with it looking this way, so it's just, you know, personal opinion of people. But anyway, what I was saying was the lighting effect in this dimension, it's a sharp cutoff, so it's bright, 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 and then dark. There's no fade. Okay. That makes sense. I know Fiery said not yellow. I'm not opposed to the colors we have on it already. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll make it a red or something, just so it's different. But this is all this. And then on CurseForge, somebody sent me a message about the crops are not working with another mod. So my corn. See if I can get my corn. Where's that? Corn down here. It's a mod that basically detects when something grows, and it's not detecting it. So I want to see if I can figure out what's up with that. I think I might not be setting the state properly, and instead notifying all the neighboring blocks that has happened. Get block state. Get grow chance. I don't see any set block in there. Item dropped is still growing. Can use bone meal. Grow crops. Oops, F3, F4. Set block state with a value of 2. Value of 3 should do it. Bug probably fixed. We'll have to find out. Let's undo all these. Where's that? Corn. Right, especially within comparison to the other ones. And you know, these are ones that you want to get. You don't want to be like, oh, that's kind of bland. I don't know. I just don't see why it has to be that way. Right, and so the bleak dimension being this color, what we have in mind is, if I can pull it off, making some type of crystal structure that's kind of like transparent and colorful, like kind of like the ores are. So like this transparent green tree crystal structure that grows on the surface, just to give it some variation on the surface, because it's just a flat, I'm okay, it's hilly, but it's just all the same uniform block everywhere. You know, in the overworld you have trees and things, right? I want to make it look like kind of like an alien world. Corn. Fix for issue with corn. Possible. Not working with other blocks. Detecting when it grows. Needs testing.
So, are we going to be adding the track loader?
Track loader. So I did not ask Hunter Blue Boy about that. So there was two machines we were talking about, Hunter, last night after you'd left. A track loader and a horizontal drilling machine. The track loader, we were saying that it would be able to break stone in the overworld, but not obsidian. And break bleak dirt, so the surface layer of the bleak dimension. It would look a lot like, let me see if I can get the picture from Fiery's messages. Open original. Look like that. So I'm assuming the claw thing in the back is partially what lets it dig the stone, along with the loader end on the front of it. So it's like a bulldozer and a front end loader put together, kind of. It's because it's got the tracks. So that was one. And the other one that Fiery was saying is a tier 2 drilling machine that drills horizontally, so sideways, instead of vertically. Then it would drill in a pattern in front of it for 6 holes. And what I was saying was we should give it an inventory, and then it could pump the explosives into those holes afterwards, right? So we would see, what's the track loader for? So that's what I was just saying a minute ago. So the track loader would break stone in the overworld, but not obsidian. It could break dirt and stuff too. So it's kind of at a class where it could break stone, and then it could break dirt in the bleak dimension, so the bleak dirt. The horizontal drilling machine, would pump the explosives into those holes afterwards, so that you could set up a horizontal strip mine underground easier. I might also make it so that it could drill into the bleak stone if I do a whole tier 2 dimensions. Send you the picture? Sure thing. Get your... So the horizontal drill will make 6 different holes horizontally instead of vertically. Oh, you got a specific model in mind?
A little bit. We actually have that one on the farm. It's a lot of fun to drive over cars with.
The one in the picture Fiery sent me is it looks like it's a 953K maybe on the side of it. But that was just whatever he found on the internet.
Yeah.
And this is Eagle's suggestion, so this is his idea. So I'm okay if he wants to go with a different model than what Fiery sent to me. Track loader. There we go. Okay, that's on its way to you, Hunter. So what else do I need to do in the bleak dimension to make it any better, or more ready? I think I need to set up, got crafting recipe for the compressed star. I can mark that one off. We need to add the ingots for all the ores so that they're worthwhile. Need to add a config. I need to add a section to the config file for the bleak dimension ID and the biome ID and the ore levels, and then make the ore level defaults be something that's realistic, because right now I think I'm defaulting them basically all to the same level, so there's like nothing at the top of the bleak dimension and everything's at the bottom. That sounds good, Hunter, those colors. Just for temporary until we figure out whatever color it is, because it's fairly quick for me to change it in Blender if we do need to change it. I'm not super worried about changing the colors on it. That should go just fine.
Could we actually switch the colors? Like everything that we have in the overworld that's gray, make that yellow, and the stuff that's yellow, make that gray?
Might work, I don't know.
It might change the scheme around a little bit enough.
Yeah. It would be cool if we actually had a texture on it. I know that I just said I don't want to do that, but thinking about it, like we could make it look alien or something like that, or sci-fi-ish versus realistic, or I don't know. Okay, that's cool, Hunter. So let me see if I can get the config stuff going. And then we'll go from there. I also need to do the crystals, if we want to do the crystals. Yeah, write that down. Not sure how to do the crystals right now, but that's okay. So where's the config? Oh. There it is. Okay, and then close the others and go to my reference. Grab that. We need something set up for all of those. And these two. Okay, those are static, but they're not final, so I can't override them. That's good. It's the loading of the configuration. What are we calling this out? It's ending knit. Which is called by pre-init. Okay, good. It's the first thing in pre-init. That should be good enough then, because we don't register the biome and dimensions until after that's called. So that'll work. So let's say reference. Dot. Configuration.get configuration. Default encoding splitter.
Open your eyes. Step by step, you walking through the door. Turn off the lights.
Is it just a string?
You're all out of moves on the dance floor. Just give up.
Just string. Okay. So we can say leak. Second one's a string. Default value, that's the third value. And then a comment. Okay, that's simple enough. That's the third one. Boolean. How many times is this overridden? A ton, good. So you can do it as a boolean, a double, an integer. Good. Has it all overloaded. So we'll say a new section in here. Public static final string. Let's just call it config section bleak. Let's say bleak.
Take a step back to look at it, realize we never had it. That's how it goes. I forget it and go. I never wanna hold back or forget that. Forget this, let's just move on. Forget that. I never wanna know what you've been up to.
Biome ID. Default value 57. Set the biome ID for the bleak. Done. You're still not liking me. What's wrong? Oh, dot get it. There we go. There we go. It's the two IDs, and then we need all the core levels. Sets the min level for your domain. Let's be 30. And actually, let's do this instead. Instead of having it coded like that, we'll code it like this, so it'll take up whatever the default value is and put it in the reference file. And I got one spot to change it in for all these. And later on I won't forget and say, oh, what was this? Change it there, not change it here, and then anyone else starts a new world won't get the big change made up. Because this would override it. I already made a mistake. Just be that. X.
I hate cave spiders.
Wanna get you?
No, it got really close.
Just one of those things where when they get you, you just gotta get away from everything for a second until it stops being poisoned.
That's the bad part. I don't have the poison.
You didn't get poisoned? Oh.
I didn't get poisoned.
Huh.
Just sitting there attacking me like crazy, though.
That's weird. Shows on stream, okay. Let me grab a snip of it so I can. So, Hunter's a speed demon, and he's already got the new model sent to me. With the new texture scheme, or color scheme. I'm okay with that. That seems good. I don't... What do you guys think?
Oh, that looks really cool.
For the lack of a better thing, go for it, man. That looks great. I don't know what else we could do to be any better. It has a dark look to it, like what you were going for, but yet it still says this is construction equipment with that yellowish tint to it on the other pieces. So yeah, I don't see why not. That's why you're taking care of the artistic stuff. You got an eye for that stuff, man. I thought it was your idea. Maybe I was getting confused on who's who in the chat, because they need like a picture. They need the pictures from YouTube inside my little chat program. That would help me. I can see they're actually different though. Gentia. Let's pull this one then. AK's not here, so it must have been Eagle. He's probably just getting confused by the voice. Although it should be showing up in the, I guess it's that corner of the stream who's talking at the time.
It is green, so...
Yeah, why is it showing as green? Is it your icon in this channel is yellow? It's weird.
I don't know.
I wonder if I color corrected or something. Maybe it's just the way Discord works. Maybe it gives a different color based on who's logging in. Like, so if Fiery looked at you, you'd be a different color than what I see you as.
It might be.
Go. Oh, doing this just feels tedious even though it's going pretty quick. Oh. Okay. Thanks, Hunter.
Bye, Hunter. I was trying to figure out why I had so much problems with cave spiders. Apparently, I got a spawner right next to me.
Oh,
Well, that's better than about 10 minutes ago.
is that where you're living? There's one, or just somewhere you're mining at?
It's right next to, or it's in the abandoned mine shaft that's right below my house.
Ah, okay.
Now, I already killed or lit up 2 mob spawners, and they're right next to each other, and they're both cave spiders.
Huh.
It was pretty bad.
That's good for like XP grinder if you can figure out a way to contain them yet be able to hit them. It's always a challenge with them because they're not
have
easy
to-
to set up farms for.
The hard part is actually trying to corral them.
Yeah. Well, you might be able to. I don't remember if they can climb on my conveyors, so maybe you could use those just to shove them in one corner or something. You still have to
Maybe.
figure out a way to stop them from climbing out of the wall or climbing out of the hole that you punch them through.
You just stick a half slab in that area.
Okay. Thanks.
If I remember right, their hitbox is exactly a block.
Gotcha. Zerium. Min-max deposit. Zerium, Zerium, Zerium. Zerium, 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 Zerium. Okay. Citronite. Oops. This sounds like funeral music. Let's change the song.
Like last time I told you that one.
Yeah. It just sounded like, I don't know, organ
Depressing.
playing. Yeah, it's just an organ playing very slowly. No. Please don't put me to sleep this late at night. Trying to do things. So my music app that I use is called pretzel.rocks, and they always put these motivational things, I guess, I don't know, encouragement or whatever as a little toast message in the app. It's like TechStack is better than cookies that are still warm from the oven. They always like this personalized message with your name in it and something like that every single time. It's kind of comical, so I've left them on, even though they're annoying because I have to close them out. But they've got so stinking many of them. I don't think I've ever seen the same one twice. Give this a once over, make sure I've got everything updated like it should be. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Was it here where you first kissed me on the cheek? I think I do. Okay, so let's run this and then check out the config file, see if everything's showing up in it. If it is, then we can get into what the ore levels should be and test that out in a survival actual. Not a super flat world, like a normal gen world. Go to the dimensions, see where the ores are. Kind of cross that one off the list then, I think. Once we get it tweaked to where I think, you know, we've got a nice spread of the ores everywhere.
Need any mine carts?
What about minecarts?
Do you need any?
Do I need any? No.
Okay.
I very rarely ever used minecarts in Minecraft.
I got 10 already.
Oh well.
From the loot chests down there. That's how I have so many. So I was wondering if you guys would need any.
I don't think so. I think Fiery probably has one in the sugarcane farm, but that might be the only one we've used. Let's see. This. Let's go to the right folder, please. Not there. This is a weird song. I've heard this one a couple times before. It's Hail Hydra. Like from Captain America, where they got the Hydra in it. They're always saying Hail Hydra or something. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, so there's the bleak stuff. IDs for both the dimension and the biome. Zerium. Okay, we should do it. Be creative. There it is. Add weak dim settings to the feed. So now we can play with what those settings should actually be by default. And I just need to change my config, otherwise it's not going to pick that up. Okay, so I think the unobtainium should be down at the bottom like I've got. So 5 to 10 is probably a little too low, so we'll say 8 to 20 by default. Deposit size of 4.
Let's only make it like 2.
2 at a time? That's like the max size.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee.
I'll give you that.
Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Let me look. Legit mineable block count. There he is. Hey, Fiery.
Hello.
Hey, Fiery.
Hello.
We need someone else in here so they can say hey, Fiery too. I think you'd say hello one more time.
Hello, hello, hello.
Number of blocks. Okay, so number of blocks.
What you working on currently?
Setting the ore level generations.
Ooh, the nitty gritty.
Right. Well, it's not too bad. Like, I've added it to the config file so people can override it if they don't like what I've got or what I'm going to default it to. But I'm trying to set up what the defaults to be. I think the way that this is part of vanilla stuff too, so I'm not 100% sure on it. But I think the way it works is it's the max it'll do, but there's conditions where, say there's an air block there or some of the ore is generated there, so it's not the stone, it will not place the other, or like it won't override it, is what I'm trying to say. So you might end up with a max of 4, or you might end up with 2 or 1, depending on what else is in the area. So if it fails to find enough there, that makes any sense.
Right.
So I think the max size is what that is. So I put unobtainium between 8 and 20. Deposit size 4. I know we're kind of... What?
That's pretty sparing.
Sparing? You think?
Yes. Nah. I'm just playing with you. Diamonds is about that much anyway.
That's
right?
what I'm thinking too, right? Maybe Diamonds has a max of 8, but... How often do you get that with Diamonds, right?
Never. Never I've seen. Yeah, everybody has their story of the diamond haul from, you know.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not saying that there won't be some method of doubling these ores at some point, too.
Right.
Or a machine that just automatically drops the processed version of them or something. So, anyway. So that's where I'm going to start with that one, unless you guys think different. I think the unobtainium should be like a diamond in the overworld, right? It should be a rare one that's hard to find, that is worth finding, though. The other ones, I don't know what their equivalent to vanilla stuff is, right? So, Iridonium, should that be a rare one? Should that be a common one? You have a preference, Fire? I mean, that was your baby.
Well, it's not really a baby. It was just a name they popped out.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's actually get something visual here to do this with, too. Photoshop would be great, but it's going to be a pain in the butt to do it in. Let me grab this and grab docs. Bear with me a minute here, guys. Do a spreadsheet, actually. And then, so we've got, you think of like 64, I think is the ocean level, right? Or 60, somewhere around there is ocean level. So we could say from level, what was it? 8.
Hey, as far as the crystal trees, I'm not trying to break you off of this, but I think we should make a machine that can harvest them and replant them and use that for the new fuel, for tier 2 fuel.
Ooh.
Not opposed to that.
Because I did, you know, we were talking about those crystal trees, so there's a use for them. They're not just decoration.
Right, and I was just talking about those crystal trees just today that I need to do them. Like, that's next after what I'm doing on my to-do list for tonight, is to start creating the blocks for those and all that.
Okay.
And see if we can figure out how those will work. You're saying they should be plantable though.
Yeah,
That
like
that makes
get
sense.
you can get like little crystals, saplings of them, and the crystals will regrow.
Yeah, I think
Like
It would
have
be-
different stages of animation for it or something.
animation. Oh,
Like of it growing up.
well, if you think like a tree in Minecraft, though, there's a sapling and then there's a full-grown tree. That's its animation.
Right. Well, in a crystal, it's not always that simple.
How big are you thinking a crystal, though? Are you thinking it's a 1 block tall crystal?
I'm thinking a tree-sized crystal here.
Okay, so multiple blocks. That's what I was thinking. Oh, great, right. We'll come back to that one when we get to that. If we can make it go more like
Well,
the what's
okay,
the thing?
a
The
small
chorus fruit.
a small tree-sized crystal then.
Something
You
like the
shoot
chorus
for.
fruit could work. Like if I took basically the chorus fruit and made it transparent, that's kind of what I'm thinking for the way the crystals would behave.
Yeah,
They would go
yeah.
off into the side. And...
That is how they behave. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me brainstorm on that while I'm doing this, I guess. So iridonium. So we don't have anything that's going to be down really, really low then, unless we put unobtainium all the way to the bottom. Say Y4 or something.
Right.
So maybe we should do that though. Okay. I wish I had like some visual representation of these ores in my head, like what they were going to be used for or the rarity they should have.
Well, the green ones you could use as like your cement, like you use slime blocks.
Are you saying for like the wheels and stuff on the machines? Or
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about stuff like that. Is that the 7 of them? It's this one. That's just this down. 1, 2. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, that's 7. So let me take and put this over here. And that's Zerium. So we'll do AZ for Zerium. And it's going to be a bluish color. Oh, great grief. Come on. I want this one. And that is what? Magentia. So MG. Crimsonite, which is red. CR. Citronite, which is orange. Obtaining, we already got. Iridonium, so we'll say ID. That'd be yellow. No, that's green. Think tech, use your brain. And lemonite. Okay, so we've got the colors on the spreadsheet. That's what I was trying to go for there. So we need to fill all the way down to 60 some. Can I make these rows a little narrower? I can, but I can't read them now. Let's take it up to 60. Let's go all the way up to 70 at least. That way if there's something up in the air a little bit, a hill or whatever, you've got something that you can find still. Does this have a border thing so I can make a line? Should I just do it this way? Wink, there. It's my Y level. I'm at 65, 64 right now. Let's find if there's any big hills anywhere. $73. See if anything goes higher than 73. The reason I'm checking this is it's based off a plane, so I don't think it's going to get too high. 78. $80. Okay, so we went up to 80. That's this mountain. Yeah, okay, so if we go up past 80, we should be good. So we'll cut it off at like 95.
Do we want one of the ores like right below grass, and that's about the only spot you can find it? Or the dirt?
Right, so what I'm thinking is we'll kind of overlap each one of them a bit with another one, but spread them out across it. So I'm thinking the Azurium is we might use that close to like Lapis, blue too, right? And maybe the Crimsonite becomes Redstone, and those are both low. So maybe Magentia, Citronite, Iridonium, and Lemonite become more towards the top, or are spread across multiple areas. With what you're saying, we could make one that's at the top few levels, maybe even like you have to find a hill to find it in abundance, because it's only from, let's say, 55 and up. And if the majority of the world is 60 and there's a couple layers of dirt on the top, there's only a couple layers where it could actually be. So we can make one rare by having it up high, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I would assume that they would just be mixed in anyway, because, I mean, of that reason. Because there's only so many layers that they can be in.
Not sure I followed that completely, Sorry.
Well, you said that you just got done saying that they're going to be spawning in certain layers. And I was like, well, there's only so many layers. You know, I was following along with your, there's only so many layers they can spawn in.
Right. So maybe if I do something like this. They're overlapping each other a lot, but I forget the last time I looked at a map of like the ore generation of vanilla on Reddit. There was quite a bit of overlap, I thought. And then put Lemonite up high. Run it all the way up to 90. So you basically have to find it in a mountain. Somewhere in the Plains Z biome. So from 61 up, you can find Lemonite. So on the very surface few layers beneath the dirt, you're not going to find a whole lot. You'll find Magentite, or Magentia, and Iridonium. Then as you start to go down, you start to get into the citronite, and then continue lower, you get the crimsonite. Mining at level 30, though, you're gonna get one type of ore. I don't know, does this overlap look right? Should I extend things up and down a bit? What do you guys think? This is making sense. So this is the bottom of the world up here. And the first few layers are basically bedrock, so there's nothing really needs to be up there.
Yeah, it's making sense.
You know, and
yeah, that would.
This is usually sea level in the world.
About right. Hold on a second.
Should I have some that are one ore only? Could do this.
Well, the main thing I was thinking with one of the ores being like right on top, so you have to use a track loader to remove all the dirt in that area to find it.
Okay. So maybe this is going down too far or up too high, depending on how you look at it. It says, go back into the world here. So I know it might be
There
hard
should
to
be
see.
a thick layer of dirt too, so you have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like a really thick layer.
Okay, so here's the dirt layers. There's at least 3 layers. I think it's that way everywhere. There's 3. 1, 2. No, that wasn't even. 2, 3. Yeah, it's 3 layers of dirt in the world. Now there might be spots where it's thinner, like if it's an extreme. I don't know, if this was more extreme up and down, you could see the stone sooner. Like if it was a cliff, because that happens in the overworld too. There's a cliff. And you're always going to run into tunnels and caves and stuff too. I made sure that there was caves in this world. So later on, as we develop out this dimension, maybe there'll be a pickaxe that you can make from unobtainium or something, and then you can go mine it by hand if you needed to. Although at this point you're invested in machines probably. So as I'm flying around here, so this is all, you know, 75, 76. By the time we get down into the actual stones, we're at 73. So what do we say for that one? 61. So this is 63. So anything above this layer basically has that ore in it. So we could go demolish that whole hill and potentially find it. But things that are beneath it, you wouldn't necessarily be able to find it. Because if we're at 60 some, then we go down. Oh, my headset battery's gonna die. Let me switch it out. Okay, I can hear you again.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I just need to plug these numbers
There's
in.
like 5 layers of dirt everywhere.
There should be 3 layers of dirt. Well, this area has more, it looks like. It's gonna depend on the world gen.
Oh.
Because it is randomized. That was 4 there.
I just figured make it deep, that way they had to make like these grand open pit, you know, mining operations.
Here's a trick I've done. This is Vanilla's plains biome. And I've replaced biome name with my biome name, obviously, and done stuff with it. But the world gen is basically generating a plains and then putting bleak dirt instead of grass and dirt. And then any stone is bleaked stone. And then I completely overrode all the ore generation stuff, right? Except for lava.
Right.
So if that helps you visualize how the world's gonna work, it's basically just the plains biome. Just reskinned. 2, 3, 4, 5. So like here there's 5 layers. It's just gonna be thicker and thinner based on where you are. Which I think is a good thing. It gives it some randomization. It doesn't feel
Flat.
It doesn't feel flat, and it doesn't feel like it's a hill where we've put the exact same number of blocks on every single one of them, right? It just gives you some natural feeling randomness to it.
You gonna do the same thing for like a mountain region then?
What mountain region?
Like some of the high mountain ones for Minecraft. I know they got like really tall mountains. I could just imagine a really tall mountain being out here.
This is the tallest thing I've found so far. Fire is 84. Because, again, this is a plains, not a extreme hills. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna behave like that. It's gonna behave mostly like a plains. In terms of height. Which isn't that much different than even a desert, right? A desert is basically the same type of rolling hills and stuff.
Right, just sand.
It's just sand on top of it. So I'm not doing anything different than vanilla does to itself, basically. So I'm flying around here, you know, this one's 80, 78. There's no huge hills here. Which I'm okay with. I'm okay with it being like this. I like the look of this, especially when it's dark without the night vision. Like, you can't even tell there's flatness to it. It's just too dark to tell. And the mushroom spawning, kind of like the way that they look off in the distance with the light going on them. It makes them look cool.
Did Blue Boy make a model for the track loader already?
Not yet.
No, he sent us an updated one for the laser.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and show Fiery that one.
Right, I'm gonna actually open up the model too, because he sent the model itself. Now this is different than what he said. Oh, I know why. Here, this is what it's supposed to look like. Ignore the black and white one. Like that. So the yellow and black. What do you think? Alright.
That's pretty cool. That would be like functional if you could make a laser cut stone like that. Although, I don't know, how would you make it cut it and actually keep it and not destroy it?
Well, I was thinking for the overworld for iron and stuff, auto smelt. To have it auto smelt.
Yeah, but then you're getting straight 1-to-1.
No, I can make
If
it
you
so
use
that
it
it
on-
gives you other things. How dare this?
Ah,
What? I have no idea how that happened.
no.
What biome or whatever would
How
have stone
dare
on
them.
the surface? And this is my biome now. Like, I've overridden it. I don't... It's like a line here. What?
Okay, I can't see it on the screen.
There's stone, there's Minecraft stone in there. In his dimension. That's supposed to be Minecraft stone free.
And it's like in a straight line. It's like a whole chunk wide. Look at this, this goes on forever. I mean, it's not gonna be the end of the world, but why is the confusing part.
It adds mystery to the world.
Okay, is it only on the surface?
Better question is, does any ores spawn yeah, if it's underground? It looks like it's only surface, though.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Very, very weird.
I just had a thought. Have you ever updated the world? It might be where it's updating where the new stuff is.
Like it was the original generation, you mean?
Yeah, like when the two worlds might have a cliff or a tire gouge sliced out.
It's
This should be new generation from me flying this far by now. Like I've definitely flown further away.
It's like somebody's flying in front of them with a rubber stamper stamping, you know, bits of stone onto the top of his world.
It's almost like it's an animation or something too. Whoa, look at this. Big hill. F3 in, F3. 82 still, okay. Huh.
I like your world. That's weird, though. How would you even find how that's happened?
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know where to start to look for. That's why I'm flying along to see if I can recognize something that would cause such a thing.
Can you replicate that?
In
Would
another
be a
world.
better question.
What's my coordinate here that we're flying along? $15.58. Looks like it's negative 15.58 is the Z. Okay, well, let's stop flying around, I guess, for a minute. Let's get these values plugged into these numbers and generate a brand new world and see if we get the problem. We can also test out the ores then. Yeah, wherever they are, or whatever. So from 61 to 94, we're saying is going to be limonite. From 41 to 75 is going to be Iridonium. 41 to 75. Magentia. Always gonna say that wrong, sorry. It's from 30 to 69.
It's gonna become your favorite ore.
Yeah, it's Citronite. 20 to 54. Crimsonite 4. To 31. Azurium 4 to 22. And the other one we've already set. So what about deposit sizes? I'm tempted to leave all the other ones at 8. As a why not kind of thing. So if unobtainium is a diamond equivalent, it probably should be a gem. Azurium if it's a lapis. Crimsonite if it's redstone. Should we do Magentia as iron? What?
I told you it's gonna become your new favorite one. Yeah.
Lapis, redstone. So since I'm just
Oh,
going off
you
of
talking
the
to me?
or levels,
Tech.
gold should be citronite. Iridonium we don't have anything for? Or am I missing another ore in the overworld that I'm just not thinking of? I know there's coal.
Yeah, iridonium, because it's iridium, which is nuclear fuel.
So you think that should be a fuel? I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if we should have the one that's at the top be a fuel-like surface thing.
Well, it only makes sense
What makes sense?
that it's a fuel and it's at the top. It's what you're talking about. It's like the top layers, right?
So the iridonium is probably the most abundant on the surface area
Right.
because it's from where you're going to spawn in at down to 40, basically, right? Lemonite will be rare because it's where you spawn in up, and there's not much up in the world. So maybe that needs to be something a little different so that you can find some abundance of this. So what I'm trying to think is, you know, your initial fuel for the tier 2 blast furnace thing we're building was going to be
Blaze rods.
blaze rods. So maybe this could be something you can mine instead of having to farm blaze rods all the time, that you could use to power it as well. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make any sense.
No, it does.
Maybe it's a power source, just for like, because it's iridonium,
Which-
iridium type stuff. That makes sense. Like tier 2 power generation.
Yeah. Well, I was also kind of thinking reactors.
Right, right. That's what I'm thinking too. Right, like it's radioactive. It's green. Sure.
Well, you're looking for power source. Oh, there you go.
Right.
That leads you into ultimate power sources.
So I'm trying to come up with why do we have these ores too a little bit. So what would we use them for in the crafting recipe? So we can determine how much of things you need in a recipe. So something like unobtainium being really hard should be the cutter heads, or the piece that breaks things in the machine, right? Or a pick, like I said. The lapis thing, what's lapis used for in the world besides decoration and enchanting, right? That's the only thing I can really think of. Maybe it's a
Enchant.
Modification?
right. I was thinking earlier before I started the stream, I was thinking maybe we need to have something that is a way to tier 2 enchant something, but what that is, I have no idea.
Well,
A modified
Very-
version of the enchantment table that you can pick what your enchantments are.
And it costs Azurium to do that. I could go for
And possibly even more levels. Make it like a high level thing. Like 40 level enchants. Cause I'm sorry, I gather that much XP up in order to be able to
Exactly
pick
what you
my
want, yeah.
enchantments.
that. Yeah, I totally get what
oh yeah. Same.
And with a mob farm, it would be no problem whatsoever.
Oh, that message.
Because that's one thing I wish Minecraft always had, was the ability to pick your enchantments without having to, you know, get them on books and get them through enchanting normal ways.
And at this point in the game, the loader's finished now? Holy crap, Hunter. He
Hunter,
messaged
slow
me
down,
back.
man. You're gonna burn up your computer, dude.
He said goodnight earlier. He did. He said goodnight. I'll work on the new model tomorrow. And he said, yeah, that work on it tomorrow didn't last long, lol. Loader's finished now. I tell you, you can make those things so much faster than what I can get them in the game. It's not even funny. Takes me forever to get them in the game. So let's look at it. There it is. Dang. It didn't take you long.
Well, it wasn't that hard of a model, really, probably.
It does look a lot like the bulldozer, so we probably started with that and then just added the bucket to the front.
Right.
I haven't
Works
seen
for
it
me,
yet, so.
Looks like they might have to clean up the model there in the front with the blender. That's fine. Not X-ray, please. Yeah, it's got quite a few polygons in the front.
It needs teeth. It needs teeth in the front, and maybe even like a hook in the back for breaking rock.
The ripper bar or whatever.
Yeah. I was really hoping it would have had those two attachments.
Think that's something you could do, Hunter? Put some rock breaker teeth in the front of it? I don't know if that's what they're called, but I worked in a stone quarry and all the loaders had those big, like, 3-inch wide teeth on the front of them. Because they
Hold on, let me
stone
find that picture I found.
I already sent it to him. The one you sent me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. I emailed it to him. Okay, so we've got... He's saying he definitely can do it.
Okay.
We've got...
It's not a big deal either. It's just... I mean... Give me like 2 minutes. Okay, never mind. I was just gonna say, I'm not trying to knock your work. It's just... I thought it would look cool with it.
I'm liking where we're going with this stuff. The lemonite, I'm not sure what we're going to use it for. Unless it's fertilizer.
Well, another question is, do we want to make an explosive that's more powerful than what we got?
Right. We had talked about that when we were brainstorming this whole dimension, that the dimension would have blocks that were too hard to break and an explosive to go with it so that you could blast in that dimension if you wanted to.
Which also goes into the whole working on the trees thing, because if we're going to use it for fuel, then we can use it for...
Working on the tree thing, what?
Because you said...
The crystals.
The crystals. The crystal trees.
What?
That we are going to use for the fuel. Because remember, we were going to use it for the fuel? For the fuel for the vehicles.
That was going to be the
Not...
That's fine. I just forgot that one. It's fuel for the tier 2 vehicles, you mean, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what should lemonite do? It's the one that's above 60. It's yellow. Can't tell from there. Okay, you know as much as I do, it sounds like. Good. So, the only thing I can think of is explosives, and I don't like that. Because originally we talked about we would have a mob there that you'd have to kill that would drop something, kind of like killing the skeleton, right? So you have to fight something to get the fertilizer / explosives for tier 2. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Those eliminates the green stuff?
Yellow.
Oh, okay.
Iridonium's your green stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to have an answer tonight. It's just if somebody's got an idea, let me know. We can try and see if we can make it work.
Maybe in the components for the tier 2 vehicles?
That's an acceptable answer to me. I just didn't know if we had anything else. Same thing.
Well, the tier 2
for-
vehicles are all going to be made in the assembly machine anyway, right? So it's not like they're going to have
Right.
components themselves. Just have it be an ore requirement for the, you know.
Yep. That's okay, Hunter.
There we go.
There's no rush on it because it's not. I'm not gonna be able to add it in tonight, unfortunately. So
Well,
it's
two
just
and a half
components.
2.5 minutes is just unacceptable, man. It's just.
So it's a component. We'll say the crimsonite, citronite, and magentium is components as well. Which would make sense if it's redstone, gold, and iron equivalents, but tier
Right.
2s.
Hey, we could be jerks and make them have to refine each and every single one of those ores in different types of machines setups.
We
Before it
could,
can
but
be-
that means we're
before it
being a
can be
jerk to
pumped
tech,
into
the
the
guy that has to
assembler.
code all those other blocks. But I think
I'm just throwing that whole scenario out there. I mean, but
I think it makes sense for me to make ingots for almost all of these. I don't think it makes sense to do an ingot for unobtainium. I think that probably should be a gem, like a diamond, like
yeah,
the item itself. The other one I question is if we're trying to make them like the overworld things is should we do a dust for the crimsonite, which is like redstone, and some type of weird looking thing like lapis for Azurium.
make it
I don't know.
pebbles. Make the crimsonite pebbles, like a gravel, but not gravel. You know, like they say it's like they say it's redstone dust, but it's crimsonite pebbles. You know.
Okay, stones, pebbles, got it. I put gravels, pebble. So a gem, ingot, ingot, ingot. I guess ingot. And then Azurium, we can make lapisy thing. I don't know
Yeah.
what lapis is supposed to be. Okay, good. So I've got some ideas here. Bleak or stuff. There we go. So I got some ideas to work on as I go through all this other stuff. So let's now close this out because I don't remember if we saved this before we started up the game or not. So let's save this. Make sure the config file is deleted. It is. Run. And we should generate a new world. We'll go to the bleak in it. It'll be a survival world, normal terrain generation, not the super flat stuff I've been testing in. So we'll generate somewhere, possibly in the sky, maybe underground, who knows? Maybe on the surface, in the bleak. Go into the bleak, fly around underground, see if we can see any stone on the surface, things like that. That stone on the surface thing, that's bothering me, because what other things are hidden somewhere that I just haven't flown across yet? Let's get the world jet going here. The life is messaging me. Okay, new world. Bleak testing or locations. One of you two might have your mic too close. You can hear breathing.
There you go.
Oh, sorry about that.
The part of Darth Vader is being played by Eagle tonight.
Awesome. Spawned in the middle of an ocean, pretty much. Not that it matters. We're not going to spend any time here.
Oh, but how many spawns I have had that.
Yeah, I know. Compressed. Jeez. No. Collapse. So I got an item for the collapsed starfire. I got a recipe for it. I got a recipe for the bleak portal frame. Like, if we were to put this on the server right now, we could go there.
Huh.
We'd get our rears handed to us in about 2 seconds by the mobs, so we could go there.
Unless we jump into a piece of equipment that can protect us.
That's true.
Or keep the light on, at least so we can have a fighting chance.
What is going on? Oh, it is crashing. Cool.
Hey, we always love Crash. From the World Gen, I bet.
What? It's gonna be a stack overflow. That's crazy.
Too much stuff happening at once.
That's what a stack overflow is, yeah. But
Why
the
did-
code shouldn't be
No.
doing what it's doing to cause this. Exception draining a new chunk. Stack overflow, yeah. Great.
So you gotta slow your World Gen down? Maybe that's all the ores trying to spawn?
Well, it's not making any sense to me at all right now. Because typically what will happen is, so I had this happen when I would break the portal. I didn't listen to my own advice from last night about only updating the one that's getting the change notification. So like you break one block, it gets notified that, or the neighbors get notified that that other block broke, so they can check their neighbors to see if there's still a portal with stuff, right? So I would check them all, and then I'd try and break all of the portal blocks from that one portal block.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I did that, then they would all get an update again. And all of those blocks would then check to see if they should break, and they, of course, should. So they would all break all the blocks. And it just caused this cascade of one block broke, and each of those blocks then caused, like, 9 updates each time. And they would each cause 9 updates again, and 9 updates again, and 9 updates again. It just ran out of memory in the stack, basically.
Huh.
Call all those updates. I don't get it.
You will. You'll find it.
Could it be the ore replacing it, the ore itself?
I don't think so.
Like they're trying to fight over a spot or something?
Jeez. So typically this type of thing would happen during World Gen if during the decoration of a chunk. So let's say I... Sorry, I got distracted here by the email that I just got.
New model?
New model, yeah. Do this first. Let me build ones here. Okay, good night, Hunter. He says he means
Good night, man.
Let's see our crawler litter. Oh dang! Look at that thing on the back.
Well,
thing
that's
needs
exactly
business.
what. Yeah, that's exactly what it needed. And yep, teeth, perfect.
Ooh.
That is so Billy Bob. Needs cleaning like a month, like all crazy, but yeah, Billy Bob.
Like Billy Bob's mother.
Yep. That's not just Billy Bob, it's Billy Bob's mother.
Oh. Okay, so what I was trying to explain, what this typically happens in World Gen when it causes this is something like Ancient Warfare, right? Where it has a structure it's trying to load.
Right.
And Minecraft will load X number of chunks from where you're at. So let's say 10 chunks from where you're at. If on chunk number 9 away from you, it says there should be a structure here, and that structure is bigger than one chunk, in order to fully load that chunk, it has to load chunks 10, 11, 12, let's say.
Right.
But in loading chunks 10, 11, 12, there's another
It
structure
finds
there.
something else.
And then it has to load chunks 13, 14, 15, right? And it just keeps going on until it's so far down in the stack that there's no more room for it to generate a little
supposed
more.
to be loading,
Right,
except
nothing
for
that's
World
supposed to be
Gen.
loading an additional
or
chunk
except
in.
for ore.
So that's why I'm confused why it's looping through itself so much. Because it really shouldn't. I mean, look at this. TechStack Heavy Machine Mod loaded a new chunk during chunk population, causing World Gen. Like, what? I shouldn't be loading a new chunk. I should be working within the chunks that are already there. Oh, a cave. A cave could do it, but this, again, this is based off of a vanilla plains world, so I'm surprised it's.
I'm
causing
saying,
that.
what kind of a cave did that? What, did Mammoth Cave happen to spawn in your world?
Right. I could see a cave going off into another chunk and then it causing that chunk to load and finishing the cave in that chunk. That should be happening at decoration time, which... So there's two different types of world gen in Minecraft. There's population and decoration. So population happens and it creates the stone in the world. It creates the dirt on the top of it. That's about it. And then population or decoration happens later. That's where it adds the trees, the grass, probably the caves, I thought, because those things purposely cross over a chunk, and you don't want, your tree to generate in the corner of a chunk, right, growing up over there, and then none of its leaf blocks showing up. You need all the chunks there, so it waits until you walk further in, closer to those chunks, to decorate them. At least that's how it's been explained to me before in something I read. Maybe it doesn't work that way anymore. It does them all at once now. So there's the populate method. And we're calling decorate and populate. Makes sense. chunk X random 16 plus, or the chunk times 16 plus a random from 0 to 16, so that should be within the chunk. The height shouldn't matter. It generates it. Generator. So it runs that generator, which is full gen mineable, raw obtainium, and the deposit size. Oh, chances to spawn per chunk, 15. We need to adjust that too, probably. Generate function of these will gen minables. There's not a lot to it. Forty-two 62, 42 60. Pretty much the same thing over and over.
What is the bagger storage?
I think
It's for the it's a component for the bagger.
Oh. That right. I didn't understand what you meant.
Wait, I thought you already made that.
There's a, what I'll call a bug in the bagger recipe. One of the components we made one that was more expensive and then never put it into the recipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, oops.
Oh.
Thing is, nothing's really changed with this section of the code, I don't think. I'm not sure why it's airing off. Get bound for coordinates. Okay, look at the history here. Yeah, let's just sync this to GitHub because I can look the history easier on GitHub. Don't. Yep. That's in Vanilla's code. So Bleak World Provider. T2 Playground branch. That. World. Back to the branch. World Provider. History. So we definitely added that recently, but that's not a surprise to me. There it is. So there's the lightness table where I got it to light up funny in that overworld. Generator generates waste.
Is this the part where everybody's quiet?
I was gonna say there's an awkward silence.
Guess this is where Tech Googles it.
just copy the whole thing to the Google search bar and put after it, "What's wrong with this?"
I'm already looking at other mods issues where they're having something similar, and then the one's like, this mod fixed it with this, and I'm like, okay. Referenced on this, referenced on this, referenced on this. Okay. Look at those issues. Okay, that guy says he has no world gen in his mod, so it's not him. That would be true then. I think I know what's going on, but I don't like it if that's what's wrong. Reading these other ones. That means there's probably a position off by 1, and I'm going outside the chunk, and I don't know where it is in the code that's doing that. If that's the case. That'll be hard to find.
Well, they're always hard to find. I mean,
That'll be extra hard to find. Is that better? This does not get a reference to anything about the chunk itself, so I won't know what chunk it's trying to actually load it in. Yeah, so if I'm reading through this right, so it's in this line of the code, then it drops down to here where it tries to generate that actual ore in that spot, and during that, it's setting the block down here inside the vanilla code, because I call it to the vanilla code like I have to. And then somewhere through that, it's causing it to populate another chunk. The forge game registry then goes back to call my mod about loading the chunk again. So I need to put a bunch of debug statements in, I think. Really, the main thing we changed was these two fields. Their values were. Maybe we set them something, or maybe I set them something stupid. That's the height and mat, minimum and maximum, and max. Let's put a debug statement right there. Let's run the game. We'll see what values we get for this X, Y, and Z if it's higher than whatever the chunk number should be. Maybe just by dumb luck I'm getting a value that's just a little bit too high. Maybe it should be 15 instead of 16 for that next int. Returns the student number 0 and specified value exclusive, so it will never return 16. If it was inclusive, it should be able to go to 16. So that'd be between 0 and 15, which are the numbers in the chunk. Not it. XC, 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 XC. going to load you. It's going to pause right away. Okay. So this is at what chunk? -13 and -3. The X position is -198. 50. Z is -45. Negative 13 negative. Times 16 gives you a max of 208 negative. $208 to what? Should we add the 16 to that still, or should we subtract it to it with it being negative? Maybe that's
Hey, I'm gonna take off.
okay, fine.
I'll be down tomorrow.
Okay,
Alright, later.
later. Does it still have my old log on here? But it doesn't.
Could you pause it after like every ore and see if it's an ore that's causing the problem?
It's definitely one of the ore generations, and I think it's falling outside of the chunk, and I think it might have something to do with this, because when the chunk is a negative chunk, so -13, we're adding 16 to it, potentially, depending on what the random number was. And that's probably going in the wrong direction. It's probably going out of the chunk instead of further into the chunk, with it being a negative number. So that -13 chunk is going to have two numbers in it, right? So it's going to have from like -198 up to -20 whatever. -28 minus 16, so 224. And our X position is what? 198, which is within the chunk. Our Z position, -45. So we just happen to get zeros for both of those? That's weird. -3 times 16. -48. $208. I think that's what's wrong. The chunk is negative, so it's adding to it instead. That would explain why I didn't have it before. So it's probably in positive chunks.
Then when it loaded the cave, it loaded it in negative chunks.
With what I'm seeing, it's probably unrelated to the cave at all. It just happened to generate a cave in that one stack trace I was looking at, but I don't know how to describe it any better. So with paint, so I can draw a picture. So let's say we've got a chunk here and a chunk here. This is the one I'm trying to generate. It's the one with the X in it. And when they're positive chunks, you know, it'd be from 0 to 15 for the first chunk, right?
Yeah.
And then the second chunk would be 16 to 31. My horrible mouse numbers here. So when I add in the random number that we generate with this to the chunk's coordinates, so the chunk is, this is going to be chunk 1, this will be chunk 2 in the x coordinates. So this is 1, this is 2. So when I take the 1 times 16, it would, this would actually be chunk 0, sorry, that would be chunk 1. So 0 times 16 would be 0. And then we add in the up to 15 numbers, random. So that's going to be from here to there. That's all good. But when you go to the other direction, and this one is -1 chunk, and this is -2 chunk. So this would be from -15, I guess it would be -16 to -31. The -1 times 16 would give me -16 as my start. Hey, Epic Death. Thanks for the subscribe, man. So give me -16, and then when I add in up to how do I say this? When I add in up
Okay,
to
I understand what you're saying now.
15 to it, it's going to throw it in the opposite direction, so it's actually going to be a chunk over here that I'm going to generate in. And if I'm using -1 as an example for the chunk, but if we're at -200 for the chunk, it's going to load -199, then that one's going to generate, and that's going to load -198, and so on. It's going to go back. So I kind of need to see if that chunk is a negative chunk, and then subtract instead of add. Here, I think. So let's confirm it crashes first. Yep, it's slowly building up backwards towards 0. Once it hits 0, it should be fine. Like, the lag, it shouldn't try and load anymore because it's going to be within that chunk then. And we crashed. Okay. So let's do another test to confirm I'm right and it's not something else we changed in the code. So I'm going to go into positive chunks in the overworld before I generate the bleak world, and it should be fine in theory. If it is, then I know how to fix it, I think. That's a tricky one though, if that's what it is. Not that world, let's create. Actually, let's recreate the same world, so it's gonna have the same seed and everything. It should be in the overworld though. Oh, hi Epic Death, I didn't get the message or the notification sound for your message. Just not seeing it. Towards positives. Positives are this way. Let's see. Positive X. Let's make the bleak dimension several chunks away from there so we don't have it load the negatives. This way till we find some island. There we go. Portal and star. there. And go. No crash. We are getting the negative number. It's trying to load them over there. Didn't think I'd be that close to it though. So let's look through the log messages first. I did it in positive numbers. Okay, let's check to see if it's the same scenario though. 4262 again. 4262. So maybe it's moving the generation around a bit. Too many ore deposits, possibly. Go down to 5 for each of these. I really didn't expect it to crash like that in the positive direction, so that's got me confused. Still doing it. It's gonna crash. is fixed or something somewhere. Let's see if I can understand their scenario and see if it is the same scenario for me or if it's something different. I just had an idea. General here. Okay, and this mod's author's solution for it was to move any trees in their case away from the edge of the chunk. It didn't load another chunk. I guess I could do that with it being a thing of 8. It could be loading inside here. Crap. The other chunks. Why am I not getting it for this one though? Default size is 8 there as well. This block count piece. Block count there, number of blocks placed. Block position is those numbers. So he's calling generate. Just generate with the XYZ coordinates, okay. Look at something. There is no overload on this, so he's calling a different type. An iWorld generator. Ending some stone. Okay, let's pause here. Double D6. So equals J. J is this. It's D6. Minus D10. Let's pause there then. So we'll comment what the block position is and then what the final position it's going to actually place the thing at.
Denied you. I know that if we try, you and I will find a way to fight it.
Oh. 448. 213. It's already changed it. That'd be useful.
The feelings all inside you.
What's that? Okay, let's try this. Nope. It crashed. So this is getting called by an event. If I remember correctly. Fortune and plus, there we go. Oh, that's not Fortune. There we go. Alright, so that's it.
tonight. Oh, yeah, your light gets me through the night. Oh, yeah, we fly and we soar the heights. Oh, yeah, the sky will be ours tonight when we collide. I believe in you and I believe in you and you're my star tonight. Oh, yeah, your light gets me through the night. Oh, yeah, we fly and we soar the heights. Oh, yeah, the sky will be ours tonight when we collide. I believe in you and I believe in you and I believe that we can write our story, yeah, 'cause we have the power to. I believe if we strive for that glory, yeah, then we'll have the world to.
That was an interesting read, but it was no help.
What?
It's somebody else's tutorial on it. How to do world origin, like I'm trying to do, but it's still not answering what I'm going for, really.
Well, the ores were generating before you had the issue.
They were, and they're probably still generating. So, like, I've got a world here. I can go down underneath the ground. They're probably here. Yeah, so they're here. It's just that they're sometimes crossing a chunk boundary when they generate. And that's causing the problem. If I'm understanding it right. So we can find an ore on the chunk boundary. That one's inside. Holy crap, look at the size of this. Oh, and it finally crashed, dang it. Oh, I just reload it. There's a huge vein of ore right there. Maybe that's it. Maybe I've got one of these numbers for the deposit size huge by mistake. Nope. There are 8's the max. 8, 8, 8, 8, and 4. Unless the config is overwriting it. Because I got to bug in the config, that's possible. Let's put a breakpoint there. Like this is just a massive ore deposit here. It crosses over into another chunk. I need to go flying so that breakpoint gets hit. It generates another chunk. And it crashed instead of breaking. Let's look at the config. I bet that's the problem. Yep. The deposit size was set to 75. So it was trying to generate a massive chunk of iridonium, which would expand into another chunk. Then that chunk would try and generate the same ore or other ores, and it would just spiral out forever. Dang, something simple I changed caused a problem. Okay, so configuration handler for iridonium. Yep, I didn't update the stinking variable name. It's taking the max level as the default. Deposit size, deposit size, deposit size. Okay.
There's got to be something that we can do with all these cave spider spawners.
XP farm, I'm telling you, man. Like if they're close enough you can stand near one and they all spawn, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but they're all over the place. I'm up to number 7th.
Wow.
And they're all right by my house.
I forget what the spawning range of those are, but it's probably under 20 blocks, so you have to be really close to them all for them all to work. I mean, there's not a whole lot cave spiders are good for except for string, and string's not that rare.
String and spider eyes.
Spider eyes, but that's what, potions? I think that's about the latest one. Let's see if I get that lag message still. It's a negative. That was it. Awesome. Man, I wish I would have just flew through the world and seen that. It would have been more obvious what the problem was. Just one glimpse of the thing being that big.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, if it was the ore that was causing it, but which ore?
Yeah. Okay, so let's create a brand new one then, because that one's kind of half messed up because of that. Delete it, yes. So we'll recreate that same one with the same seed. And then go into the dimension right away. I'm gonna give myself a splash potion of night vision so I can see in the dark. We're gonna fly around and see all the ores, see if it looks like it's legitimate spawning or not. Oh, that's interesting.
What's that?
So I was on the surface in the overworld, and I'm half underground in the bleak dimension. So I was in a pit, basically.
You're cutting out on me.
Oh, really? Here. Close to the mic, maybe that's it. So I was in a pit, basically, because it cut a hole, that 10 by 10 hole, and then there's this floating thing above us. It just looks really weird. I don't see anything funny about the overworld surface. No error messages. That's good. F3 in. Okay, I've got some green and pink up close to the top surface. See if I got my Google Doc open still. That's my Y level. 62. That's just right. So we actually need to go up to see if we can see the yellow. So we won't see him unless there's a cave, I guess, in this mode. Oh, there's some yellow one. Okay, so it's spawning in the right spot. Green, okay. Got all three of those, so we need to find some citronite, so I need to go below 55, which I am. Still on the green level too. There's some citronite, right? Oh. And then as we go down even more, still some citronite at 20 something, that's right. Down to where we can find the azurium at 18, yep. Need crimsonite. There it is. And unobtainium should be a couple blocks lower. Unobtainium's gonna be hard to spot because it's black.
Well, can you try turning the stone to air?
I could with a command. I just have to keep running it though as I go through this. Let's see. State. Okay. 10 by 10 by 10. Negative 10. 10. That's interesting. Did I leave that one piece of code in there? Yep. That stood out like a sore thumb to me. That's what the callus was. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a column right in the center of the chunk where the ores are. I turned that random thing off while I was debugging it. So all the ores would have appeared in the middle. And right there it is. That's unobtaining. So let's now delete this world. Restart and delete this world because I took the randomization of where the chunk is at. I forgot to undo it though. So your stone, or setting the stone to air, is a good idea for the yellow ore too. We can see how much of it is inside of a mountain or a hill. Make sure there's enough around. Alright, so I gotta get myself the stuff. Portal. Star. Light. After playing this so many times with in creative, I'm probably gonna want to create some night vision potions to go into this dimension for real and survival. It's handy to have. See very far in it. So let's do fill 10.
So I need to start making some golden carrots.
Probably wouldn't hurt. Especially if we keep the mobs even somewhere near as hard as they are in this right now. I want to be able to see good to know where we can get away from them and stuff. Minecraft. Machine.
I think before we put it on the server, we need to make sure they're afraid of the light.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because that's our only saving grace out of that world.
And right now their AI is not behaving like I want it to at all. So I don't know if you heard before, my original idea was they would only attack you if you had XP on you. So if you don't have XP, they wouldn't come after you. But that's not how they're behaving right now. There we go. There's the yellow ore. And that's pretty abundant. So I wouldn't be worried about that, I don't think, being too rare. Just have to, you know, remove some chunks or whatever. Wait, because of that, okay. Just to remove part of my portal, I think.
I know that you'll be here in the morning. For now, just come a little closer, a little closer. Let me take you home, make you never wanna sleep alone. Shake you, baby, right to the bone. Show you love that you've never known. Oh my God, I'll take you with me and don't look back. I'll be your savior, I'll be your guide. Show you love that you never.
Well, it is quite a bit of yellow there.
Right. Alright, let's get a big area cleared out. I think the ores might be too common. And they're kind of everywhere. I don't normally do this type of looking in vanilla in the overworld. Maybe I should go look. Place stone there. Just to get a feel for how common it is. Come on, let me through the portal. Alright, and then onward. Okay, so let's do the same here, but let's do regular stone. Oh, the sand. Crap. Yeah, all the other stone types are definitely common. Iron's fairly common. Stuff down here is pretty common too, I guess. Try another shop somewhere. Okay, let's do this. Go to this. See where. Hierarchy. Yeah, let's back up a bit. This. It's on wool generator. That. Where is this all called? My mod and biome decorator. Diamond gen. Diamond count. Diamond count's only 1. Something that doesn't seem right.
Is there more to us than the words we say? The games we play? Can we know that we're not dreaming? We have this feeling that we can't explain. Do this every day. but love will find its way. I feel your presence, but I can't help but notice that you are missing where I need you most. I'm so cold inside, but I can't stop this fever. You are a million miles away, but I can still feel you here. These seas will never drown us out. We're in this together. We're in this together.
So that's the number basically. Excuse me.
A million miles away, but I can still feel you here. These seas will never drown us out. But is there more that we can do?
Chances to spawn.
If we really want
It's looping it through that many times. Yeah, so I need to adjust that as well. So to make unobtainium rarer, we'd want that to be lower per chunk. Because right now it tries to spawn it 5 different times in an entire chunk.
We're in this together. We're in this together.
I want to say that's like
We're
a
in this
1 or a
together.
2
We're in this
to make it rare.
We're in this together.
Look at my thing here. So that should be pretty rare. Lapis Azulium replacement. Or Azurium. Is probably appropriate still for that one. Same for the redstones. So Crimsonite. That's probably okay for the rest of them. Just the unobtainium, I want to lower its chances of spawning, I think. Okay. Should do that one. Let's quit. Rerun again. Then I'm probably gonna call it a night after I do this test, because I got some stuff going on tomorrow I need to be at least awake for. Going on, I wonder where I am. Oh, it's after 1. Recreate. Yep, sure. What did I do with my to-do list? Did the configs? Let's see that. Portal. Star. Vision.
Well, I'm pulling the plug.
Okay.
Good night, Tech.
Night. I won't be long behind you. Unobtainium, where are you? Right there you are. Unobtainium right there. So you do exist. And you're rare enough, probably. Feel from 10. We'll do 0. Now we'll do 2. 10 to -10. 30, because we only need to go up a little bit. And -10. Minecraft air 0. Replace machine mod. Machine leak stone 0. And there's lava in my head. I don't see any unobtainium. There's some. Right there. Maybe I need to make it so that when it spawns in a bigger chunk then. Let's see, where's the size of that? Deposit size is set to 4. I'm going to bump that back up to 8 by default, I think. That way, you're like, if you find it, you're going to get some of it. It's not just going to be 1, hopefully. So there's a 2 chunk deposit, block deposit. That's a decent one. That's like diamonds, right? The other stuff's common enough. Okay, the last test I want to do that just up the percentage of the one I know, so it's going to change things, but go strip mining. Oops. That's how long it takes for me to get. Okay, there's the blue one, there's the red one. Simulate that we've got our own continuous miner down here. We're gonna go eat a world here. F3B off. Okay. no unobtainium yet. So far as been on titanium. Give it. No. I have not gotten the unobtainium, if that's what you're asking. Wait, right there it is. Right before the lava. So that's not too bad. Maybe what, maybe 30-40 blocks like this? Couple minutes of mining with this thing. And between the time you said you were gonna go and now, I've also changed the settings for it so when it spawns in a bigger deposit, because I'm not spawning as many deposits of it, so I wanted to spawn some bigger ones then. Let's do this. So there's some there. Just went right past. Some over there. So it'll be more like these sizes, right? Where there's more likely to be 8 instead of just 4 or 2. I think there's enough in the world. I mean, I'm saying this not knowing how much we're going to actually use. But it's a good start. So with that, I'm going to call it a night, guys. We got a lot done. Got a lot more to go still, though, unfortunately. But see you. Bye.